Here we go again. The hectic holiday shopping season is underway. In fact, many holiday shoppers started buying gifts before Halloween. According to a survey by Bankrate.com, shoppers seem more financially frazzled this year than ever. People say they're stressed about the cost of holiday shopping and the strain it will put on their budgets. Hopefully, we can make things a little easier for you. I'm Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man, a contributing editor at Checkbook.org.
Welcome to Consumerpedia at Checkbook.org. We're the nonprofit that helps consumers select services, avoid trouble, and save money. Because we don't accept any advertising or take money from any business we recommend, you can rely on Checkbook.org to be completely independent and objective. Now, here's the host of Consumerpedia, America's consumer expert, the Consumer Man, Herb Weisbaum.
In this episode, we'll share some surefire ways to save money on your holiday shopping and how to spot fake sales and phony ads. Plus, tips on how to avoid gift card scams, stop porch pirates, and spot bogus shipping notices. Checkbook's Holiday Helper is loaded with useful information. So let's get started. Up first, two super shoppers. My good friend Edgar Dworsky, founder and publisher of Consumerworld.org.
Hi there, Herb.
And Checkbook associate editor, and also a good friend, Jamie Lettuce.
Hi there.
So Jamie, let me start with you. Retailers know that many families are struggling right now with the lingering effects of inflation and looking for bargains. So I think we should expect to see sale signs plastered on store windows, in the aisles, and all over online shopping sites. But just because it's on sale doesn't mean it's a good price or the lowest price, right?
That's absolutely correct. Here at Checkbook, we have spent weeks and weeks shopping major retailers for the same items, and very often we find the same items are priced at the quote-unquote sale price most or even all of the time. So you don't want to jump at something just because it looks like it's a great sale and there's a suggested price on that tag, which oftentimes the retailers themselves create to make you think you're getting an amazing deal. You shouldn't use a sale as an excuse to just buy something right then and there. You have to do your homework.
Because I know you are an incredibly professional, frugal shopper, how do you find the best prices when you go shopping?
I will bring my phone with me always because that is an amazing tool. Pull that out when you see something you want to buy and check other websites. So you're, let's say at Target and you think, oh, this is a great deal on a coffee maker. Is it really? I'm going to look at Costco. I'm going to look at Walmart. I'm going to look at Amazon. I might just do a Google search and see what pops up there. So I really am doing research on the fly. And that really helps me make sure that the price that I see that I'm excited about for that item really is the best price I can get. And I will also check a couple of my favorite cashback portal websites to see if I could maybe add a little bit of cash back to that transaction. It's another way to save. And I will also look at promo codes when I'm comparing. The other thing that I always do is I will check that retailer's website and I will make sure that there's not a lower price online.
And if there is?
If there is, I will ask for a price match in store and I'll say, look, here's your website and here's the price online and I'd like to take this item home with me right now, but I'd like it for this price. And I often do that with competitors' pricing as well. So like if I found that coffee maker I just mentioned for a cheaper price at Walmart.com, but I'm right there in Target, it's on the shelf, they will match that price from Walmart.
So the bottom line is you don't run home and say, wow, I saved 60% off this iPad. You want to say, I got this iPad for, I'm picking a number, $500 when it normally really does sell for $700. It's the bottom line, what you walk out of the store with price, not how much you think you saved off of some maybe imaginary price.
That's exactly right. It's that final number that matters. So maybe I got cash back on top of that, because I decided to buy the item online. It was the same price online, but that retailer was offering 10% cash back through Rakuten that day. And I said, okay, well, this item is $200. Like I can get $20 back in my pocket. That's worth it to me. I'll wait a couple days to have that item at my doorstep.
Edgar, bargain shoppers always look forward to Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. You have followed Black Friday ads and pricing for decades now. I think you started during the Lincoln administration, if I'm not mistaken. I know you get up ridiculously early on Black Friday to snag some of those doorbusters deals, but Black Friday is no longer just a day. It's become a shopping month.
It really has. November is Black Friday month at this point. Retailers have always kind of tried to be ahead of the curve. I mean, that's why you start seeing Halloween stuff in stores in August, because stores know that the term Black Friday really is an attention grabber, and consumers have kind of learned that that is a great day to buy. They try to make all these other sales start popping up earlier and earlier in the month.
And with the sales starting so early, how do you know that the prices won't get better as we get closer to the real Black Friday?
Well, that's the problem. You really have to try to use some online tools. I happen to like camelcamelcamel.com, which tracks the prices of any particular item that Amazon sells. So you can see, is the price being offered, even if it's not Amazon, by Walmart or Target? Go look to see what the Amazon price history was. So you can see, oh, well, that's been $2.99 most of the year. I'm going to wait for a price that's $1.99 or $2.49. So you really can't believe, as you both said, the so-called percentage savings that stores claim. Save X number of dollars, save X percent. See what the real selling price has been. That way you can spot a genuine bargain.
And since Thanksgiving comes late this year, there'll probably even be more Black Friday month sales.
I think you're going to see a different Black Friday sale every week in November. Walmart for the past couple of years has split up their sale. Instead of having one big sale on Thanksgiving Day, and for the most part, they're not doing Thanksgiving sales anymore, but the day after, they're seeing part 1, part 2, and maybe even part 3. So they're spreading out the bargains throughout the month. And we're seeing other stores do the same thing, again, because they know the term Black Friday in a sale name really gets consumers' attention.
And for the insomniacs listening, if you really do get up in the middle of the night and get in line to take advantage of those doorbuster deals at the big box stores, do you really get a good deal in most cases?
It really depends. You've got to do your homework. You need to know the prices in advance, and if this is a good price or a great price or a lousy price. And frankly, the days of getting up at 4 and 5 a.m. are pretty much over. Most of the deals may have been available earlier in the month, and stores don't necessarily, but I hope they would, have their best deals on Black Friday. I can't tell you how often I used to get up at 4 in the morning to get in line at Kohl's and commiserate with all the folks there and then race into the store or do the same thing at Staples. But a couple of years ago, I discovered, gee, I can go online to staples.com, get the same offer at 5 a.m. and not have to wait in line with all those crazy people.
Good for you, Edgar. Jamie, do you ever check the prices after you bought something really expensive to see if there was a price drop, and maybe you go back and say, hey, give me a little bit of money back here?
Almost all the time. I bought a bed from Pottery Barn not long ago, and I checked that price for about 6 weeks just to make sure that it didn't go on some kind of a sale, because that's found money in many cases. And often so many stores have these sales, like I mentioned earlier, where stuff is like almost always on sale, that if you need something at a time when it's actually not on sale and you just got to get it right then, chances are if you check back in a few days or a week, that item will be on sale, and you can often get the money refunded to you from the retailer. So you don't even have to go into the store many times. You could just make a phone call and they'll do it over the phone. Definitely worth doing that, especially for a big ticket item.
All right, and let's talk about returns. Edgar, you also track return policies of the major retailers. Most national stores have relatively lenient policies for holiday returns. Do you expect that to continue this year?
I think they're going to be relatively generous returns because stores really hope when you come to return some gifts that you received, you're going to go buy something else. So you'll probably see some good sale prices right after Christmas as you normally would expect. The return policy, some years stores crack down, some years they are a little more lenient. I honestly don't know yet what the policies are going to be this year. I have a general sense, however, that because of return fraud, some retailers are taking extra precautions. They may take longer to give you a refund if you're returning the product by mail, or they may really look carefully.
Does that make it even more important to make sure you have that gift receipt in something you give so it'll make it easier for that person to return the item?
It's always smart, if you're the gift giver, to put a gift receipt in the package, in the box. That way they know the item was purchased at that store. They know at what price it was purchased, and you'll probably have fewer hassles or headaches trying to make the return. And if you can keep the package sealed, don't break the factory seal, then they'll know it hasn't been tampered with.
And if you don't have a gift receipt, you may wind up getting the short end of the stick, right?
Well, typically, if you don't have a gift receipt, they're going to use their computer and go back and maybe only give you the lowest price the item sold for the past 90 days or maybe even the past 6 months. So why kind of give up that money or credit? Keep in mind that if you come in with a gift receipt, you may get an even exchange. You may get a merchandise credit or a gift card in return, but you're not going to get cash.
And Jamie, you must have a few return tips.
I certainly do. I think we've talked in the past year or two about how returns are getting more difficult. And since the pandemic, retailers are cracking down because so many people were buying and returning, and they've been losing money on free returns. And retailers have started, as Herb has covered, charging people for this. And I will say that one of the things that's gotten easier in recent years when it comes to returning is that retailers have partnered with local stores like UPS, FedEx stores, Whole Foods, and you're able to bring your return to a location closer to your home instead of having to go back to, say, the mall to return something. I recently had to return some clothes for my kids from the Gap, and I was able to go to a Staples store, which is right near my house, and just bring the stuff in. I didn't need a box or a package. I just showed a QR code from my phone. They took the stuff, and I got the money back within an hour. So be aware if you do need to return stuff, especially during the holiday shopping silly season, as we call it, you may not need to go into the store to make that return.
Great advice from both of you. Jamie Lettuce, Associate Editor at Checkbook.org. Thanks, Jamie. We'll let you get back to work.
Okay, thank you.
And Edgar Dworsky, he runs a website, a great website called Consumerworld.org. You can sign up for his weekly newsletter and know what's going on in the consumer world. Edgar, we'll let you get back to shopping. Thanks so much.
Well, thanks, Herb. Happy bargain hunting.
For fraudsters, the holiday season is the most wonderful time of the year because there are more opportunities to target you. Straight ahead, how to protect yourself from the con artists, scammers, and other sleazebags who are trying to rip you off. I'm Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man, and this is Consumerpedia, powered by Checkbook.org.
If you like what you hear, we hope you'll consider being a Consumerpedia supporter by using the link at the bottom of the show notes to make a small contribution each month. This is Consumerpedia.
The busy holiday season is prime time for criminals around the world. These Grinches have all sorts of ways to steal your money and snag your personal information, so you need to be careful and fight back. Amy Nofziger, a good friend of the show, is here to help with that. Amy's Director of Fraud Victim Support at the AARP Fraud Watch Network, and she knows all the tricks and traps these holiday Grinches will be using.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So I want to start with gift cards, a popular holiday present. Unfortunately, criminals also like gift cards because they can easily drain all the money loaded on the card, leaving you and the gift recipient with a worthless piece of plastic. So Amy, how do they do it?
Well, they can do it many ways, but the one that we hear about it most from our retail partners is you have gangs of criminals who come into the store and take the empty gift cards, the ones that haven't been loaded, off of the rack. They take them, then they write the serial numbers down or put them into a computer program, then load those cards back onto the shelf. So when you are, doing your holiday shopping, you grab one of those cards. The minute you load money on the card, they get a notification that money's been on that card, and then they instantly drain it, sometimes even before you leave the store.
If this does happen and you buy a card with all the money drained, you're out of luck, right? The store isn't going to help you.
It depends. So it's not always a lost cause. So what I tell people, if you are buying a gift card for somebody from a store, make sure that you keep that receipt that they give to you. Oftentimes people throw that away, but that is your proof. And sometimes you can actually go back to the store and say, hey, look, I put $150 on this card at 1:52 p.m. p.m. and you find out at 1:53 p.m. the money was taken off of the card. But no one wants to go through that and have to deal with it. So most importantly, if you are buying a gift card from a store, pull one off of the back, double check it, buy it closer up to the front of the store where there's eyes on it.
So there may be warning signs of tampering, but from what I've heard and seen, it is getting harder to spot. They really know what they're doing. That's why I no longer buy gift cards at the store. I send electronic gift cards. Thoughts?
Oh, I think you're spot on. I think electronic gift cards are a very safe way to send these. Or if you know you're going to be with that person during the holiday season and you're not sure what to get them, instead of $25 to their, favorite retailer, maybe just give them $25 in cash and then you don't even have to worry about having a gift card being tampered with.
Porch pirates are a year-round threat, but with so much holiday shopping done online these days, there's more to steal at the end of the year. According to Forbes, porch pirates stole more than 115 million packages last year, with an estimated value of $9 billion. These package thieves are not scared away by home security cameras anymore, so we need to find other ways to fight back. Amy, do you have any suggestions?
Well, I definitely think having conversations with your neighbors first and foremost and saying, if you ever see a package on my porch, please let me know, or go ahead, I give you permission to grab that package and store it for me. Or when you're buying these items from the retailer, find out what other options they have. They might be able to deliver it to a secure locker, or you might even be able to tell the retailer what times you're going to be home. Put a note in there that says, please ring doorbell. Let me know the package is there, because the porch pirates, as you said, are out there and they're circling our neighborhoods.
You might want to send it to work. That's another way to do it.
Send it to any secured location, your work, your friend's house, wherever you can, where you know someone's going to be there to watch it.
So because all the package deliveries take place around the holidays, cyber crooks send out waves of bogus email made to look like there's a package for you that couldn't be delivered, maybe from the U.S. Postal Service or a shipping service like UPS, FedEx, or DHL. How do you tell the real alerts from the fake alerts, the phishing scams?
Everyone is getting these. I actually got one yesterday. The best thing to do is, what are they asking you to do? Are they asking you to click on a link or to verify personal information? That's a huge red flag. If there is a problem with your package, more often than not, the shipping service or the vendor is just telling you information. Your package is late. It's 2 days late. It'll arrive on Friday. They're not asking you to do anything like click on a link or call a phone number to verify information.
Holiday shoppers are also looking for deals. Fraudsters are hoping to cash in on that with ads on social media, offering popular items at greatly reduced prices. It's mighty tempting, easy to fall for these.
It absolutely is, and we hear about these scams every day on the Fraud Watch Network helpline. My best advice is don't shop off social media. Most of these ads are not vetted. If you are interested in something and you do click on the link, make sure you're actually going to the vendor that you think you are supposed to be going to. Look up in the URL and make sure the vendor you want matches the vendor in that name, and always pay by a credit card.
Amy Nofsker is with the AARP Fraud Watch Network, a great resource for you. You can contact them if you've been scammed, but the smart move is to contact them when you get an email or a phone call or see an online offer you're not sure about, because they can steer you in the right direction. Amy, how do we reach you? What's the phone number and the URL?
It's 877-908-3360, and it's aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork.
Free service, and you don't even have to be an AARP member, which is really great.
Call us anytime.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
There's a lot of pressure this time of year to buy, even if you don't have the money. There are options, and a lot of them have serious downsides. We'll tackle that next. I'm Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man, and you're listening to Consumerpedia, powered by Checkbook.org.
Consumerpedia Fast Facts. About half of all Americans have at least one unused gift card, according to a survey by Bankrate.com. The average amount not used is $187 per person. If you have gift cards you can't or don't want to use, you can sell them online. Card Cash will pay you up to 92% of the cash value of those cards. According to Statista, the most desired holiday gifts in 2023 were cash and gift cards. Clothing was next, followed by cosmetics, food, and electronics. Statista also finds that holiday shoppers prefer free shipping to fast shipping and plan to buy more gifts online this year. 60% of those surveyed said they buy gifts the week before Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone.
Some people love holiday shopping. Some stress out about the toll this can take on the family budget. In the weeks leading up to Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, there's enormous pressure to buy, to maybe even spend more than you can afford. You need a plan, and you need to stick to it. You also need to know the financial traps that are waiting for you. Here to help with that is a good friend of this show, Bruce McCleary. Bruce is a vice president at the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. Hiya, Bruce.
Hey, Herb.
I don't mean to make you out to be a Scrooge here, but I think it's really important to remind listeners that it is so easy to buy now and deal with the bills later, and that can have devastating repercussions.
Well, it's absolutely right. If you buy now and you think about what you're going to get in the moment and you're satisfying an immediate need, it may seem like the payments are manageable and you can take care of what you need to take care of within your budget, but that can add up. And the more of that you do, the less affordable the debt becomes, and then you end up running into a situation where you could fall behind. You're paying extra interest as you carry the balance month to month. It can have some devastating consequences.
Many shoppers use credit cards to make it through the holiday shopping season. That's fine if you pay the bill off when it comes, costly if you don't. The average interest rate on credit card accounts accruing interest right now is nearly 23%, according to the Federal Reserve. 23%. The interest rates on store credit cards is even higher. According to Bankrate, the average interest rate for retail credit cards is at a record high 30.45%, with some hitting nearly 36%. Bruce, that is just crazy. It's getting even more costly to carry a balance.
Yeah, those are some seriously high percentages. And if you think about it in terms of dollars and cents, that can make the difference between getting out of debt sooner and being able to afford your payments or not. When you're talking about interest rates at 36%, you really have to ask yourself, do I need this credit card? Is it really that important that I use this or apply for this credit card to make these purchases?
Another way to put it is if you pay off your bill, every $100 you pay, every payment you make, 36 of the $100 is going just to pay interest. I mean, think about that for a second.
Yeah, that's some serious wheel spinning. And it means that you're going to have to take a lot of extra effort if you intend to pay the balance off quickly to dig into other areas of your budget and find that extra money to offset that high interest rate.
So when you're at checkout, you may be offered a great deal to apply for that store credit card on the spot, typically a 15 to 25% discount on your current purchase if your application is approved. You can't really study all the details of the offer at the checkout counter, but if you know you're going to pay off the balance in full and it's a big purchase, it may make sense. I've done that. I knew I was going to pay the balance off at full. I was making a big purchase and I saved a bundle. Not the best way always to do it, but it can work.
Yeah, there are ways to make it work. And I think a good way to approach that is before you even go to the store, think about how you might react to an offer and what things you need to think about before you say yes, even without knowing all the particulars. But always give yourself time to think about what are the terms and conditions, what's the interest rate, how is this going to impact your budget if you can't pay off the balance in full for the purchases that you make. But you're absolutely right. There are circumstances when you use these cards, if you can pay off the balance in full, that discount you get as a reward for using the card can really pay off.
So if you know you're going to be doing a lot of shopping at one time at Kohl's or Macy's or Target or whatever, look at the offer for their credit card, see what the terms and conditions are, and then if you're offered that at the store with a big promotional discount, you'll know what you're getting yourself into.
Right. On the flip side of that, if you're being offered the account and you think you might get approved, but you're already maxing out on some of your other credit cards and you're struggling to make the payments, I would say that's a good opportunity for a reality check. And maybe it would be best in this case to step back from the offer and get your financial house in order before you go back and start considering offers like that and the discounts that come with them.
Really good point. You know, buy now, pay later financing really took off during the pandemic. You can get these instant loans online or at checkout at many stores. The typical model is 4 equal payments, the first one at the time of the purchase, the other 3 every 2 weeks. It sounds like you're beating the system. That's what they want to make you think you're doing. No real credit check, no interest in most cases. With some services, no fees. So what could possibly go wrong, Bruce?
And when you go to Vegas, there's a chance you might beat the dealer too, right?
Yeah, there's a chance.
Yeah. So, there's so many different circumstances where these things can go wrong. And you have to think about how you're going to use the buy now, pay later offer whether or not you're going to be able to pay the balance off according to the terms to get the best deal. In some of these cases, you don't have to pay interest if you pay according to the terms, but you have to think about where you are financially when you're going into these situations. And our recent Harris Poll survey from the NFCC found that among people who use buy now, pay later, 10% are doing it because they have a low credit score and they can't qualify for credit anywhere else. And 10% also said that they're doing it because they have no room on their credit cards. If you're in either of those situations, run away from the buy now, pay later offer like it was on fire.
Retailers know that buy now, pay later drives sales. Shoppers are less likely to abandon items in the online carts or spend more on the store. That said, buy now, pay later can be used wisely, maybe to help with cash flow for a big purchase if you know you'll have the money to make those 4 payments. But it's when people start to get into a whole bunch of them because they don't really have the money to buy things and they're juggling payments for different lenders and different amounts and different times that are automatically being withdrawn from their checking account. That's when you can really get into the penalty box.
Exactly. This stuff can pile up, and you've got other financial obligations to think about when you're getting into buy now, pay later offers. So you have to think about how you're going to manage the buy now, pay later payments as well as any of the other obligations that you have. And if you take on too many buy now, pay later accounts at one time, or maybe you run up some of the balances on your other accounts, either of those scenarios can put the other in jeopardy, and you really have to be careful. It's like dominoes. One domino falls, the rest can go next.
Want to share a bit of survey data from Bankrate.com? More than half the American shoppers they surveyed who use buy now, pay later, 56%, said they experienced at least one issue with a service, overspending in 29% of the cases, missing a payment in 18% of the cases, and difficulty returning items or getting a refund. That's because there's now a third party, the buy now, pay later lender, between you and the retailer. So there are a lot of potential downsides to using this payment method.
Yeah, and a good piece of advice my dad gave me early in life, he said, the more moving parts something has, the more likely it is to break. And this is exactly what you're dealing with here, because now you have that buy now, pay later issuer, the credit issuer, in between you and the retailer. They're involved in all of this.
Yes.
But if you have an issue with the product or service, there are complications with what you owe the buy now, pay later issuer. It just becomes a bit of a thorny nest.
Bruce, buy now, pay later lenders say customers report having good experiences with these loan products. Here's some of what Miranda Murgowski, head of communications at the Financial Technology Association, the group that represents buy now, pay later lenders, told me.
The delinquency rates for those are less than 2% compared to nearly 9% for credit cards. So the reality is that people are using buy now, pay later responsibly. It's a service that they like to use. They're having good experiences with it. And once these people use a BNPL, they are more likely to use it again in the future.
Murgowski said the system is set up to help customers succeed. For example, if a user doesn't make all their payments, they won't be able to use that particular buy now, pay later lender again to make other purchases. I should point out that right now, buy now, pay later loans do not help you build credit because the credit bureaus aren't set up to handle this data. So, Bruce, before we go, budgets are tight, and people need to remember the cost of a holiday gift does not equal how much you love someone. Maybe you can bake them a cake or knit them a sweater or take them to lunch. We need to remember that it really is the thought that counts.
Think about things that you can do for other people. Exactly. Think about meaningful things that you can do that don't necessarily mean spending a lot of money at the store. And sometimes the things you make for somebody or the things that you do for somebody have a more lasting value than some item you buy at a big box store that's going to end up in a heap in their garage a few years later.
Amen. So for those listening, if you find yourself in financial trouble after the first of the year, as so many people do, don't throw up your arms. Talk to a nonprofit credit counselor who can look at your individual situation and help you get back on track. You want to go to the National Foundation for Credit Counseling website, nfcc.org, and get started.
When you go to the website, you can click Connect with a Counselor, and that'll notify a counselor that you're ready to connect. Then you can take up the counseling session by phone, where they can talk to you about your unique situation and conduct a complete financial review, and then go over some of the options that you have to resolve your financial challenges and to reach your financial goals. Or you can call directly, toll-free, 1-800-388-2227, and that will also connect you directly with a counselor who can work with you by phone.
And I got to tell you, these are really the good guys when it comes to getting out of financial trouble. You want to find a nonprofit credit counselor, go to nfcc.org. Bruce, want to thank you so much for spending time with us. Bruce McClary is a vice president at the National Foundation for Credit Counseling.
Thanks for having me on the program.
Before we go, a few other Consumerpedia episodes you might want to check out. Number 25, Dealing with Debt. Number 26, sale prices are rarely real deals. Number 49, shop like a pro, Checkbook's 10 shopping tips. Number 52, shop safely online this holiday season. And number 57, misleading marketing that gets you to buy now and pay more. You'll find links to these episodes in the show notes. And with that, we come to the end of another edition of Consumerpedia. We hope you'll rate it and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Remember, we release new episodes every other Thursday. Another way you can support this show is to follow us on Consumerpedia on Facebook and Instagram, and at My Consumerpedia on X, formerly Twitter. I'm Herb Weisbaum. Thanks for listening.
Consumerpedia is a public service of Checkbook.org. We're a unique nonprofit that helps you save money and make smarter choices. You can count on Checkbook to help you find the best services and avoid the worst, with local ratings that are accurate and unbiased. If you live in or around these 7 cities and haven't joined Checkbook yet, check us out. Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco, Minneapolis-St. Paul, and Washington, D.C. To get your free 30-day subscription, go to checkbook.org/Consumerpedia. If you like what you've heard, we hope you'll become a supporter by using the link at the bottom of the show notes to make a small contribution each month. Consumerpedia, empowering consumers to save money and make smarter choices.